move on now to Judith Bellis, who's going to deliver our financial report. Again, it's been an interesting year financially as well. Judith.
Yes, just unmuting myself. I'm still trying to get to grips with all this new technology. Well, what a difference a year makes. How could we have imagined a year ago that we'll be using this particular medium for our AGM? It's good to see that so many of our members have taken the trouble to sign up for this annual event, even done this way. And it does feel strange to be speaking not to a sea of faces, but to my own laptop. So for all our sakes, I'll try and keep this brief and hope that my internet connection doesn't let me down. Those of you who have heard me before will be aware that we've had several large legacies over the last few years. In the short term, of course, this is placed with our bank and our portfolio investments. And the trustees then have to decide whether they should increase the value of our portfolio in the long term to help secure the work of the society in the face of a dramatic fall in regular income, or to use it to support and expand the work of the society in the medium term, or some combination of the two. So back in 2019, which feels a long time ago, when we set the budget for the year ahead, we planned that our expenditure would be supported by the legacy income received in recent years, i.e. that we planned and expected that barring any significant income, the bottom line would show a deficit. I'm going to try a bit of screen sharing at this point. If I can find it. Here we are. Right. Can you all, I hope you can all see that. This is an extract from our accounts. And you can see, if you see my pointer there, that our accounts have the value of our investments and savings and so on has fallen by 35,332,000. This was well within the parameters set at the start of the year. So it was expected and planned for and not a cause for concern in itself. At this point, I should just apologise for the poor print quality in the financial summary, which was included in the middle of the review of the year and the annual report, which came out with the magazine. It did look fine when we sent it to the printers, so we aren't sure quite what happened to leave it looking as it did. But as has been said before, if you're interested, the full accounts are available on the website, or please contact the office for help if you can't access them this way. So to look at the year, for the first 9 months of the financial year, our income and expenditure were broadly in line with expectations. And then COVID-19 hit and everything changed. So what has been the impact of the pandemic on our financial position? I want to look at it in two ways. Firstly, the direct effect on our income and expenditure for the year to the 30th of June 2020. In purely financial terms, the pandemic had not really hurt us at that point, purely financial terms. While our income had dropped in the last 3 months of the financial year, we couldn't hold any events, I wish we'd have taken donations, made sales of merchandise, and possibly attracted new members. Our expenses fell by far more. We benefited from the job retention scheme with our wages costs subsidised by just over 10,000, and here we are. I don't know whether you can see all that because the panelists are appearing over the end bit, but this just shows the wages through the year, and if you can only see April as I can, the yellow bit, the orange bit, is the job retention scheme contribution, and it was similar in May and June. So we benefited by just over £10,000 in those 3 months from the job retention scheme. Now, it's shown in the accounts not as income, but as a reduced figure for wages costs. And all the staff, apart from me, have been furloughed at some point, but all have had their wages from the society paid in full. Grant income didn't suffer, and the People's Postcode Trust Grant had the usual restrictions lifted so that it could be used to meet any of our costs and not just the Helping Hands project. Other expenses are also less because we couldn't run the project or put on events, and the costs associated with those fell. But the longer term effects are not yet known and could be felt in a number of ways. The thing that concerns us most is that because we haven't been able to hold events at which we publicise the work of the Society, we haven't been able to attract new members in that way. It's by no means the case that if we haven't persuaded a particular individual to join us one year, they'll join us later. It could well be that potential memberships we might have gained this year have been lost forever, and with all the impact on our future income that means. And the likely financial impact of the pandemic on those least able to withstand it financially may mean that we lose existing members. We've already seen this to a limited extent with a small number of members not renewing and citing financial hardship. Furthermore, there's the effect of all this on our portfolio. At previous AGMs, I have warned that although the value of the portfolio has increased, we cannot be sure that this can be sustained. Well, this was the year that this prediction came true. Share screen, value of portfolio. Okay, now again, you perhaps can't see the last slide, but you can see, I think, that for June, September, December and March, June, September and December were pretty consistent. And then in March, the value of the portfolio fell off a cliff. Back in March, it had fallen by about 15%, but there was a recovery to some extent by the end of June. Withdrawals from the portfolio are very close indeed to the value of the dividends received, which are invested back into the portfolio. So it is a reasonable picture of what's happened during the year. But it has lost value compared with the previous year. So my usual warning about the value of our portfolio has even more force than usual. We cannot know how the pandemic might impact our long-term reserves. And the position is in addition made even more uncertain by all the implications of our exit from the European Union. But I don't want to conclude by giving the impression that all is doom and gloom, or that there's nothing that any of us can do to make a difference. Please do think, when you can't get out to the shops perhaps as readily as usual, about buying gift membership or supporting us by buying one of our lovely calendars. You can have a look at these on the website, and it really is quite a beautiful calendar this year. And we've also just had new Christmas cards. So that was a photograph from the calendar a couple of years ago, and then that lovely horse photograph makes another lovely card. So please do think about supporting us by buying that merchandise. And Stop Press, as a way of showing our appreciation to anyone who does join now, whether it's directly or a gift membership, we will give a calendar as a welcome gift as long as our stocks of them last. So please order soon. And if you are buying a gift membership, let us know if the calendar is to go to you or to the gift recipient membership. Recognition of the impact and status of the work done by the Helping Hands project was instrumental in securing a grant from the Third Sector Resilience Fund of $48,750 with an associated loan of $16,250, a total of $65,000. And these, with other grants, mean that, and in particular with the continuing support of you, our members and our volunteers, that we can be confident that we will be able to continue to protect Snowdonia, as we have for over 50 years now, in the difficult times that may lie ahead. Thank you.